Right, brothers, we're getting this purpose thing all wrong. You don't need to go searching for your purpose. It's not hiding in a book. It's not waiting in a course. It's not out there on the next YouTube video, the podcast, the masterclass. It's already here within, right now. It's buried under all the noise. See, most men think purpose is something you go and find out there. Like there's some golden map. It's going to appear once you've done enough healing, enough inner work, right? Or built that perfect life. But the truth is, you don't need to find your purpose. You need to remove what blocks it, right? The addiction to distraction, the stories that you've inherited from teachers, from society, from people, from parents, from everybody, right? The fear that hijacks your nervous system and keeps it fried. That false urgency that keeps you chasing instead of listening, right? Purpose isn't missing. It's fucking muffled under all the ways that you've been trained to live someone else's life. So in today's video, I'm not here to give you some rah-rah roadmap to your ultimate calling. I'm going to show you what's standing in the way of what you already know deep down. Let's strip it back. Let's go inwards and remove the bullshit interference so what's real can finally rise. Right, see, for years, I used to think I had no idea what my purpose was. I'd lie awake some nights thinking, what the fuck am I supposed to do in my life? What's my calling? What's my purpose? Why do I feel like I'm made for more, but I just can't figure this shit out? And I chased anything that felt like the answer, whether that be sales positions, business jobs, creating businesses, coaching programs. I even built my own barbershop thinking, this is it. And every single time I'd done something, it didn't work out the way I hoped, I'd start again thinking, this time is different. Right? I'd finally land that one thing that would give my life meaning. But there's so many things that I couldn't see back then. And one of them was, I didn't lack purpose, right? I just couldn't hear it through all the bullshit interference. Whether that be drinking, smoking weed, taking coke, scrolling, always compare myself to other people online, watching what they're doing, what they're building, and then slowly destroying my own self-belief and self-trust. Right? I'd roll over in the morning, grab my phone before my feet had even touched the floor. I was already lost in someone else's life. And then I'd look at my own life and feel like total dog shit. So then I would numb out, or I would work harder, or I'd convince myself that I just need more time to figure this shit out. Right? But the reality was, I wasn't disconnected from my purpose. It was buried under all the distortion and the noise. There was no space for the truth to be revealed. There was no silence. There was no real presence. Right? There was moments I had glimpses, times where I'd feel this pull inside, right? This knowing. But my mind, my fear, my need for control would always drown that shit out. And it wasn't until I started to remove the blocks one at a time, that's when shit started to shift. And as I spoke about recently, just before my spiritual awakening, I started to take my physical health seriously. I was training harder, I was eating better, meditating, getting into nature, journaling. And looking back, I believe that's what created the conditions for my spiritual awakening. And then after my spiritual awakening, obviously shit changed, right? A whole new reality was open to me. And I cut out alcohol, drugs completely. I started to clean up my energy. I began to prioritize stillness, reconnecting with who I am, getting to know myself on a deeper level. And then over time, things started to progress. You know, deeper stuff started happening. I started receiving channeled messages from guides, from higher beings. And the most powerful one was the first one I ever received from Archangel Michael. And he told me that everything that you've went through, it was for a reason. It was preparation for what's to come. So you could imagine after that message, I was slightly confused, but I was elated because I couldn't believe what had just happened. I was on cloud 9. I thought, wow, I've arrived. And this is when everything's going to fall into place. But fucking hell, that was so wrong. That was just the beginning. For the 5 years that followed, it was filled with intense healing, endless learnings, multiple dark nights of the soul, which I call the lone wolf stages. And it was the most recent lone wolf stage that stuff started truly making sense to me. Because for the first time, I stopped fighting. I surrendered. I let go of needing to figure everything out. I just trusted deeply that I was being divinely guided. Now, I'd been told on numerous channeled messages that I was divinely protected and I was being divinely guided, but I never ever lived that way. And it was after this lone wolf stage, I finally understood and just let go and started to embody that true surrender. And see, since then, I stopped chasing clarity. I just started removing everything that was causing noise in my head, right? And I stopped asking, questions like, what should I be doing in my life? And I would start asking questions like, what's blocking me from knowing what I already feel is true? And questions like that changed everything for me. So if you're stuck in that space right now, brother, if you're stuck doubting, wondering if you're going to figure this shit out, let's dive a little bit deeper so you can stop searching and you can start seeing what's been there the whole time. It's just been too cloudy for you to hear it. Okay, because you already know what your purpose is, whether you want to believe me or not. You might not know the job title or the end goal, but you have a pull inside, that whisper, that inner knowing. Right? You would not be watching this video if you did not. It's there. Right? You've just been trained to ignore it. Right? That's what's called cognitive dissonance. It's that internal tension that happens when your inner truth clashes with the identity you think you should be living. Right? And the result, you numb it, you distract from it, you scroll, you drink, you hustle harder. Right? Not because you're lazy, but because clarity threatens a version of you built to survive, not to lead and thrive. And then you put that on top of all your early survival wiring from a child, right? We're not taught to connect with our intuition. Especially, I grew up, most men were never, taught to, cultivate that intuition. So we're disconnected from our intuition, from as long as I can remember, right? Because we're not taught to trust ourselves. Think about it in school. We're not taught to believe in ourselves, to trust ourselves. We're taught to remember what they fucking teach us in books. We're taught to perform, to please, to do as we're told, to stay safe. So as adults, right, we don't hear that inner guidance because we've never listened long enough to recognise a voice. Right, see that? I don't know what I'm here to do story. That's not a lack of purpose. That's just an overload of mental static. So if you can remove the noise, that's when the truth starts getting louder, right? Because your brain is a fucking wonderful thing, but it's not wired for purpose. It's wired for efficiency and survival. That means your brain prefers routine over risk, comfort over calling. Avoiding purpose-driven action doesn't keep you safe. It keeps you stressed. Your brain reads the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be as a threat. So it floods your body with cortisol. Because to your nervous system, uncertainty isn't the real danger. Living out of alignment is. And also, see, clarity, creativity, and purpose, they live in the prefrontal cortex. That's the same region activated by meditation, deep focus, flow state. Right? No coincidence there. You don't have to figure out your purpose. You don't figure out your purpose by overthinking. You access it through flow, through stillness, through presence. And the more time you spend in distraction, the more that you reinforce the default mode network. Right? That's the part of your brain that keeps you looping in thought, identity, comparison, ego. And when you create structure, enter flow, and get into your body, that's when purpose will start to reveal itself to you. Right? Not in theory, but through action. This is why working out, fasting, writing, creating, meditating, connecting with nature, connecting with sunlight, unplugging from social media, that's why they all matter. These aren't just habits, these are spiritual weapons that clear interference and activate the signal. Right? Because you're not lost, right? You've just been buried under cravings, buried under past wounds, buried under everything you were taught to believe that had nothing to do with who you actually are. And in the Bhagavad Gita, what that tells us is better to follow your own path imperfectly than to follow another's perfectly. Right? The reason that you feel numb isn't because your soul is missing. It's because you haven't cleared the interference long enough to be able to hear it. Okay? Because your soul speaks in silence. And silence is something that most men, we avoid because it brings up everything that we've been running from. So it's not about chasing purpose, it's about removing the illusion and asking yourself questions like, what is not mine? Like, what baggage am I carrying that's fucking not mine? Right? What belief, identity, or attachment is distorting my truth? Where am I trying to force life instead of just flowing with it? Because it's not about doing more. It's about stripping away everything that does not belong to you. Getting away from the noise, getting back into presence, unplugging, sitting in nature. Let the truth inside rise on its own. It always does, if you give it the space. Right? And the perfect examples of this are the Stoics. They didn't chase purpose. They lived it with virtue, with intention and alignment every single day. Right? Seneca wrote, life is long as you know how to use it. But most men are not living, they're reacting. And if you're reacting, you're not in purpose, you're in ego survival. Okay? Marcus Aurelius, he never sat there and asked, what is my purpose? No. He said, what is in front of me right now that needs doing with excellence? Purpose isn't found, it's chosen moment by moment, through being in the moment, through presence, through restraint, through removing what clouds your mind and blocking your action. Okay, it's not about looking for clarity and feeling, it's about creating clarity through disciplined living, right? Cutting out the noise, understanding you need to execute that mission, build structure, simplify your life so what's meaningful becomes fucking obvious. Okay, because look, there we have it, right? Psychology tells you that confusion is programming. Science shows you that your brain can't access clarity through chaos. Spiritual wisdom says that the truth is revealed in silence, not hustling harder. And then Stoicism demands you stop reacting and start embodying. So you put all of that together, you don't lack purpose. You just need to remove what's been blocking the signal. Okay, so let's cut the bullshit, brother. See, up until this moment, you probably didn't know any better. Right? You were never confused. You were conditioned. Conditioned to chase validation, to scroll for answers, to numb out every single time you felt discomfort. To believe your calling would arrive in this neatly packaged aha moment. It won't. Because purpose doesn't come to men who wait for it. It reveals itself to the man who's ready to carry it. And see, readiness, this is not about confidence. This is not about knowing the whole path. It's about choosing to strip away every single thing that is not fucking you. Okay, because see the man who wakes up and immediately reaches for his phone before he even fucking breathes, he won't feel purpose. See the man who numbs his boredom with dopamine, he won't hear his calling. And see the man who carries the noise of everyone else's fucking life, he cannot access his own truth. But see the man who will create silence, who will sit in discomfort, who chooses discipline over distortion, who builds structure even when no one is watching. See that man? He becomes the signal, not the seeker. Right? You're no longer the man searching for clarity. You're the man who removes what's clouding it. Right? You're no longer the man who needs a divine sign to move. You're the man who moves and you become the fucking sign. Okay? You're no longer the man outsourcing his truth to the external bullshit out there. You're the man who leads himself first and lets his purpose reveal itself in motion. Because real purpose is not a job title, it's not a 10-year plan, it's the way that you show up every single moment of every single fucking day. Fully, deliberately, in alignment with who you know you are underneath all the bullshit. You're not here to find something out there. You're here to remember what's already in here. Okay, see the awakened savage? He doesn't wait for permission. He clears the interference. He sharpens his inner signal and he acts from deep alignment, whether the path is clear or not. And you are that man if you choose right now. And this isn't about planning your future. It's about clearing all the bullshit in the way so that you can find it. Okay, because purpose isn't something you chase. It's something that's revealed only when you remove the noise. So let's look at a daily ritual so that you can get out your own way and make space for what's to come. Okay? The first one, step one, morning stillness. As always, it's so important before the world gets loud and distracting. Get silent. No phone, no scrolling, no inputs, just you, breathing, presence. Right? And ask yourself, what energy am I waking up with today? What emotion or thought is trying to hijack me before I even begin my day? Okay? Label that, observe it, and then remind yourself, I am not the noise. I am the one who chooses. I am the master over my mind and body. And then immediately right after stillness, write one sentence that reflects your higher self. How are you going to conduct yourself today? What's your intention? Right? I don't need to find purpose. I just need to remove the bullshit. Today I choose silence over stimulation. Clarity isn't found, it's revealed when I slow down. Whatever it has to be true for you. Right? Use that as an anchor statement for the day. Okay? And purpose will be revealed through action. Right? So create time and space to focus on your purpose. Pick one aligned task that moves you towards what it is you're trying to create. And this could be in any domain: fitness, family, fulfillment, finances. Okay? You could be writing, creating, learning, planning your business, going to the gym, training. It's only one rule. It must come from intention, not obligation. So set a timer, go all in, no multitasking, no distractions. Okay? And see, for those who say, I don't have an hour. Bullshit, get up an hour earlier. Okay? If you check your screen time, I bet you could find an hour in there. Okay? Number 4, nightly detox hour. Okay? Every evening, do 1 full hour without screen time. This is a non-negotiable. Okay? Whether that be walking in silence, journaling, just meditating, breathing, sitting in nature, just reflect on where you acted from distortion or alignment. Right? Where did I listen to the noise today? Where did I move from stillness? Where did I move from alignment? What's the one thing that I want to do differently tomorrow? It's so important that we reflect and adjust. Again, I'm going to challenge you here, number 5, to a 30-day no chase, no force challenge. So see, for the next 30 days, no begging for clarity, no begging for signs, no chasing results, no scrolling when you feel bored, no forcing answers. Your job is one thing and one thing only. Make space. Show up. Let it come. This is how your purpose is revealed. Okay? In the now moment, in presence, in silence. Right? And most men, unfortunately, will fail to hear their purpose because they're so full of everyone else's fucking noise. But you're not most men, right? If you wouldn't be watching me right now, if you were, you're here for a reason. And we're going to walk this journey together. You are the signal now. So detach from the outcome. Anchor in your rituals. Let the mission find you. Right? Because, as I've said, you don't need to find your purpose. You need to clear the space for it to speak to you. See that pull inside? It's not confusion. It's clarity buried under years of bullshit, noise, distraction, addiction, fear, doubt, shame, guilt. Just trying to be what the world expects instead of being who you truly are. I chased and forced for years. Purpose, meaning, direction, and every time I reached for it, it moved further away. Not because I wasn't ready, because I was too full of the wrong energy to hear the truth. It wasn't until I got still, I cut out the bullshit noise, I sat in discomfort, that purpose started to rise. Not as a voice outside of me, but as a knowing within me. And that's what I want for you. Right? Not another course, not another dopamine hit for motivation, but a life built from alignment, where your actions reflect your values, where your direction comes here from within, where your leadership starts with yourself. Okay, brother? So, if this hit home, right, just comment, I am removing the noise from my life. Okay, if you haven't already and you want to join me on this journey, right, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I read your messages every day, and I promise you, every message that I read, I respond to, and it hits here right in my heart. I'm so grateful to have you on this journey with me. And if you know another brother out there who's stuck, lost in distraction, numbing out, addiction, chasing clarity that keeps slipping away, this message might make sense to him, so send it to him. Right? Nothing comes good by forcing it. Right? You find it by becoming the man who is ready to hold it. Strip the noise, drop the chase, lead from stillness. Remember, you're not here to guess, you're here to remember. And if you walk this path with me, with discipline, with awareness, you won't have to find your purpose. Your purpose will find you. And always, I truly love you guys. I appreciate every single one of you being here with me on this journey. I love yous, and I'll catch you on the next one. Another video here, and you can subscribe here. And I'm out. Take care.